Hi, and welcome to this webinar on using the DICOM viewer within the European Reference Network Clinical Patient Management System. My name is Frederick Lambrecht and I'm the co-founder of Osimis, the company that provides the DICOM viewer used in this portal, as well as the support that goes along with it. Here's an overview of what we'll cover in this webinar. We'll start with a general introduction on the viewer, so you know what it can handle and so on. Then we'll start by adding a study to a patient in this portal. We will then get to know the different parts that are available in the DICOM viewer so that you can get orientated. We will then go through a series of measurements that you can make with this viewer, and then we will go through a list of manipulations that you can do on series. Next, we'll look at how we can lay out the different series within a study. After that, we'll understand how we can compare studies of a same patient. And finally, we'll have a look at the digital pathology viewer. So here are the key pieces of information about the Osimis viewer. First of all, it is a zero footprint viewer. This basically means that you don't need to install anything in order to be able to use it. You can use it in any web browser that is available today, so in Firefox, Chrome, Safari, and Internet Explorer. It supports a whole series of image types, including CT scans, MRIs, PET scans, tomography, echographies, X-rays, as well as DICOM static daylight images, endoscopies, and whole slide digital pathology images. It is optimized for use on mobile devices, so you can use it either on a desktop device with a mouse or with a multi-touch mobile device. So in this part, I'll show you how to upload a study. I've now logged into the Clinical Patient Management System as user Osimis team, and I am part of the University Hospital of Antwerp. So I can see in my dashboard that I have a patient list of about 11 patients. So I click that list, and I know that for my patient, Frederick Lambrecht, which obviously is a dummy patient, I'm going to upload an additional DICOM study. So I click the patient and I can get to see the consultation request and additional information that has already been added before. And in order to add a medical image, I have to move to section medical documents. And in this section, I get to see all the images that were added already. I then click the attach file/image, tick the box. I then press the section here in the middle, and I'll be prompted with the possibility to upload studies from my file system. I select the file I want to upload, so I can select either one DICOM study or multiple DICOM images, and it will gradually upload. So as soon as it's finished, it will show that it's processing, and once it's processed, it will show that it has been successfully processed. So now I close this interface, I add the reason for change, and I save. It's currently saving, and then once it's done, I can actually view the uploaded study in my viewer. So now that we know how to add a study, let's have a look at what the user interface of the viewer looks like. I'm clicking here on a study that I just uploaded, and this is what the user interface looks like. Of course, I can see that it is a CE marked viewer. Next to that, I can also open the viewer documentation. When clicking on it, it will basically download a PDF document which will hold all the instructions of use of this viewer. Closing it again, you can see the next thing you can see here is the study picker, so I can actually select multiple studies that have been uploaded. So I can start comparing the different studies, different series of these different studies. This study list here can be displayed in two different modes. Either it can display the series within the study as a grid, as it is showing now, or I can toggle to a list mode so that I can have a better overview of the names of the series within the study. Do note that the names of the series within the study are also visible as an overlay here, as an rollover when you're rolling over the different series. So I'm now dragging a series into the main viewport here, which I can then start manipulating and adding annotations onto. So that's the last section that I will be talking about. So we now know what the viewer different components are. Let's now take a deeper dive into the different manipulation features that it can offer. So I've loaded this multi-frame instance into my viewport here. So this is a viewport. The way to scroll this, navigate this, is basically using the scroll bar. So I can now scroll up and down, and what it will do is it will switch between the different instances, the different images within my series. This is a multi-frame instance, so I can actually run it in Kine loop as well. This Kine loop is basically a way to run it, and you can also manipulate the frame rate at which it will be played. Putting this back in pause. Other manipulation features that I have at hand are the following. I can either invert the color, or I can basically update the windowing level. There are different presets available which mainly are used in CT scans. I can then pan the image. I can of course zoom, which is the default feature that is available when you're loading a series. I can also use a magnifying glass, of which I can set the different factors, either the magnification level or the size of the glass. Last but not least, I'd like to draw your attention to a particular feature of this viewer, which is the gradual loading of the different images. So as you can see, the quality of this image is currently loading in different qualities. First it loads a lossy quality, and then it gradually loads different qualities of the image. The end result will be the DICOM grade quality. That's of course provided the fact that the study that was uploaded hasn't been compressed beforehand. Now that we know how to navigate series, let's have a look at how we can lay out the different series of different studies within the main viewport. So let's start by drag and dropping a series in the main viewport. This is nice, but I'd like to have another series displayed right next to it. So this is a possibility to, of course, drag and drop another series of another study. And I can see that this series is part of that study thanks to the green dot here. And this series is part of the red study here. All are part of the same patient, which here unfortunately is called IRM. And all those studies can, of course, as I mentioned earlier, be picked up from the study picker. I can, of course, show also these series in horizontal mode, or I can display 4 viewports within the main viewport. I can compare 2 studies by first clicking on the study I want to view. Then I go to the study picker and select the previous exam of the same patient in my viewer. I then choose the vertical comparison. I open this study here on the right place, and then I can see that there is the same patient. I can compare the same patient at 2 different time points, and so I will always see the patient name here and the study name there. There are 5 types of measurements that can be used within the Osimis Pro Viewer. The first one, of course, is the linear measurement. I can make a measurement and I can see that this is 19 millimeters. Then I can do an angle measurement, which will basically calculate the angle between 2 lines. I can do a pixel probe, which will vary as long as I keep on clicking the screen, and when I stop, this pixel probe will be fixed. Now I can do 2 regions of interest. It's either an elliptic region of interest or a rectangular region of interest. I can remove these annotations only by selecting the tool that I want to delete. So if I want to delete this rectangular region of interest, I have to pull it out of the viewport. If I want to remove this elliptical region of interest, I have to drag it out of the viewport, but I of course have to select the feature itself first. These annotations will move in the right direction. They will always be shown so that it is readable to the user. Even when I'm flipping or rotating this series. It's important to note that all these annotations are stored in the viewer. So if I now go out of this study and I come back again, the annotations will be visible to myself and to all other users of the platform. The last item on our agenda is whole slide images, or digital pathology. I've uploaded this study here, which I'm clicking on, and this will make the whole slide image appear. So there are 2 things I can do on this image. First, I can pan. That's by simply dragging the image across the screen with my mouse. Second thing is I can zoom, which is basically done by scrolling with the mouse wheel. Thank you for your attention. I wish you all the best with our viewer.